You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. Exodus 20:5, NIV. The context of the verse. This verse is part of the Second Commandment, which forbids idolatry. God had just delivered Israel from Egypt, where they were surrounded by polytheistic cultures that worshipped countless gods and idols. God was establishing a covenant with Israel, and he demanded their exclusive loyalty. He is a jealous God, not in the human sense of envy, but in the sense of demanding rightful worship and devotion. What does it mean that God is jealous? The term jealousies here refers to God's zeal for his glory and his rightful claim to worship. Just as a husband is rightfully jealous for the affection of his wife, God is jealous for the devotion of his people. This jealousy is rooted in his love and his desire for a relationship with us. As it is written in Exodus 34:14, "Do not worship any other god, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God." Generational consequences. The phrase punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation is often misunderstood. This does not mean that God punishes innocent children for their parents' sins. Rather, it refers to the natural consequences of sin that can affect future generations. For example, if parents live in rebellion against God, their children may grow up in an environment of sin and idolatry, leading them to repeat the same mistakes. Sinful behaviors, such as addiction or violence, can have lasting effects on families. However, the Bible also makes it clear that each person is accountable for their own sins. As it says in Ezekiel 18:20, "The one who sins is the one who will die. The child will not share the guilt of the parent, nor will the parent share the guilt of the child." The contrast with God's mercy. While this verse mentions punishment for sin, it is important to note that God's mercy far outweighs his judgment. Just a few verses later, in Exodus 20:6, God says, "But showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments." This shows that God's blessings extend much further than his judgments. Spiritual application for believers today. This verse reminds us of the seriousness of idolatry. While we may not bow down to physical idols today, idolatry can take many forms. Anything we prioritize above God, such as money, power, or even relationships, becomes an idol. It also challenges us to consider the impact of our actions on future generations. Are we living in a way that honors God and sets a godly example for our children and grandchildren? Cross-references for deeper understanding. Deuteronomy 5:9-10 repeats the Second Commandment and emphasizes God's jealousy and mercy. Joshua 24:19-20. Joshua warns the people that God is holy and jealous and will not forgive rebellion. 1 Corinthians 10:14. Paul warns believers to flee from idolatry. James 4:4-5 speaks of God's jealousy for our devotion and warns against friendship with the world. Conclusion. My dear friends, Exodus 20:5 is a powerful reminder of God's holiness and his demand for our exclusive worship. It also challenges us to live in a way that honors him, not only for our sake, but for the sake of future generations. Let us examine our hearts and remove any idols that may have taken his place. As it is written in 1 John 5:21, "Dear children, keep yourselves from idols."